Hi guys, you're welcome to today's class. Please, can you guys hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me, please? Okay, I think my mic works. I mean, good evening, guys. Please, can you hear me?
Good evening, sir. Yes, you can hear you. I can
Okay.
hear you from my side.
All right. Thank you, Balumi. So today's class we are going to commence. And for God's so good, we are able to have a biology class in the evening. So for those that are going to be offering biology, try and do well to watch the replay on the YouTube channel. The link is already dropped on the group. And for those of us, if you're watching this video right now and you have not subscribed to be part of the class, this is going to be the last video that you're going to see. Yeah, this is going to be the last video you're going to see for free. I do this so that people can know what this program is all about. And that's why you have been seeing the previous classes also on this channel. So from now henceforth, it's only those that are in the class that is the paid. We have up to 38 students now that have paid, and they will be the only one that will continue enjoying this class. Remind you, classes are always on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. So those are the 4 days that we always have classes in a week. And I must tell you, it's going to go a long way for you in trashing your JAMB syllabus and letting you understand how to prepare for your JAMB in an excellent way. So without any further ado, I would like to share my screen now so that everybody can see the screen. Then we get started. If you have a friend and your friend is not in this class, guy, you are not doing them good. Try as much as you can to also let them benefit here. It's a good thing if you are both in school together, not if only you one is in school and you are coming back home from school and you are still seeing them at home. It's not a good thing. So when we both become a successful human, it makes sense than when one person is successful and others are still struggling. So if you get admission, it's going to be a good thing if your friend can also what gain admission as you gain admission. And I pray that God will use this program to favor every individual. Okay, so without wasting much of our time, don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Since my screen is no longer showing or something. Can you still see my screen? Okay, I think you can see.
Yes, sir.
All right. So if you are in this class, try as much as you can to invite your friend also to register. 2,500 naira is not much at all. And that's why I don't make it 5,000 or 10,000 so that you can all benefit from it. And I pray God will use it as a means of you blasting your jump and come out in flying colors. All right. So let's go to today's question. So we're starting with maths 2012, sorry, 2011. Yeah. And remember, the first question, you cannot fail it, but not now again. Then, which mathematics question paper type is given to you? So, of course, if you are not blind, you should know the type of the paper type given to you. So that's why we said you cannot fail number one questions then. So number two question is the question says if two please Kelechi, kindly mute your mic. All right, thank you. So if 2 base q and 3 base 5 equal 77 in base 8, that is 77 in base 8, find q. 2 base q, 3 base 5 equal 77 in base 8, find q. So if you look at this topic, it's basically and purely under number system. So let's look at number system as a topic and see what and how JAMB want to test us on this particular topic. Number system. Now, when you talk about number system, we are talking about calculating and processing devices. Are you getting this now? Because when you talk about calculating and processing devices, they deal with how numbers are combined as operations involving different bases. Are you getting it now? So, by the time you start counting, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, can you see? You start again 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You start again 21, 22. You can see that every count of 10, you are starting all over. So what does that imply? That implies that 10 is making a bundle. So if 10 is making a bundle, that's to tell you that the numbers that you are counting, they are in base 10. So if it is that they are in base 2, then 8 is going to make a bundle. Are you getting it now? 8 digits is going to make what? A bundle. Now, when the number is in a particular base, it's not the same number in another base. For example, if I give you something like, let's say 14, that is 1, 4 in base 5, plus, let me say 23 in base 9. It's not the same thing. This is not the same thing as saying 1, 4 in base 10 plus 2, 3 in base 10. I say it now. The result of this one is not going to be the same thing as the result of this. But let me even say 14 in base 5 plus 23 in base 5 equal. So it's not going to be the same thing as 14 in base 10 plus 23 in base 10. Are you getting this now? So you need to know the base in which a particular number is given before you can carry out any operations on it. Do you understand that now? So it's very, very important for us to know that. All right, so without wasting much of our time, let's get started now. On this particular topic, what do examiner wants to test on you? So examiner wants to test if you understand the counting system. The counting system. Number 2 is that, can you add number together? That is addition of number base. Addition of number base. Number 3 is that, okay, if you know the addition, what about the subtraction? So can you also carry out subtraction? If you can carry out subtraction, what about multiplication? The division. Okay, if you can do all of this, is it possible for you to convert from one base to another? Conversion of base. Conversion of base. Conversion of base, they can test it in 2 ways. Number 1 is that, can you convert a number in another base to base 10? And can you convert a number in base 10 to another base? I see it now. And the third one is that, can you combine a number from one base to another base other than base 10? I get it. Maybe this one you are converting from base 2 to base 10. This one you are converting from base 2 to base 7. This one you are converting from base 10 to base 2. So examiner want to test that if you can do that. Then the last one which examiner will want to test you on is the application of it in the real life. So they squeeze all of these things and turn it to like a finance arithmetic. For example, examiner can tell you that a trader bought 40 books in base 6, 40 books in base 6 at 14 naira in base 6, each at 24 naira, each at 20, each, and 24 books in base 6 at 12 naira in base 6 each. And they'll give you different options for the total cost of the books. So you can see it's not in base 10 that is very easy for you to add. But it's also easy for you to add once you understand the other number-based system. Now, this topic appears so simple, but if you don't understand this very well, you can fall victim. Are you getting it now? So let's try to start from the very first one, understanding counting system. So I will base my counting on base 10 to base 2, from base 10 to base 2. Let's say you are counting in base 10. If you are counting in base 10, these are the digits that you can possibly find. When you are counting in base 10, you can find 0, you can find 1, you can find 2, you can find 3, you can find 4, you can find 5, you can find 6, you can find 7, you can find 8, you can find 9. Guys, if you are counting in base 10. But if you are counting in base 9, you have 0, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means you are counting in base 9. If you are counting in base 8, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This you are counting in base 8. If you are counting in base 7, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This means you are counting in base 7. If you are counting in base 6, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this is base 6. And counting in base 5, you have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this means you are counting in base 5. If you are counting in base 4, you have 0, 1, 2, 3. So you are counting in base 4. 0, 1, 2. You are counting in base 3. 0, 1. You are counting in base 2. Now, why can't we have base 1? We can't have base 1 because the number that we are going to have in base 1 is going to be a number that we use to represent what? Emptiness. A number that we use to represent none. So that's why the least base that we can count is base 2. So when you check something about all this counting system, you get to see that you are having that whatever base you are counting, the highest number there is always 1 less than the base. Just watch out for that. So that's to tell you that it's not possible for you to have a number like let's say 25 in base 4. It's not possible for you to have a number like 24 in base 4. It's not possible for you to have a number like 23 in base 2. Are you getting this now? So whatever number that is going to be in a particular base, the highest digit must be one less than the base that you are counting. Please, do you guys understand this explanation?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's about the counting system. So let's move to the next one, which is addition. Now, when you talk about addition of number base, How do you add number base together? The same way we do with base 10 is the same thing that we are going to do when we are to add other numbers that are in other base different from base 10. Are we together now? So the same way we add them together is the same way that we are going to do or add any number base together. So let's just pay attention. Let's take for instance that you are given a number in base 10 so that you can easily recall that we have 3, 4, and we have 8, 9. So these numbers, they are in base 10. Now before I move on, if you are WAEC students here that want to take JAMB, I also want to take WAEC, please, it's always preferable you write this thing in words instead of writing it in figure, because majority of you find it difficult to write this number as small as this. Some of you can write it that they will be of the same size as the actual number. So you don't want this to happen. Am I making sense now? So instead of you causing that confusion for yourself, you can just write it in words instead of this 10. So now if we are to add this together, 4 plus 9, that will give us 13. 13 is greater than 10. That's why you are writing down 3 and you are taking 1. Now, why do you write down 3 and take 1? This is what you should understand. 13 plus 4 plus 9, that gives you 13. What you are going to do is that you say 13 divided by 10. That will give you 1, remainder 3. So you write down the remainder and carry the 1 to this other side where you have 3 plus 8. 3 plus 8 will give you 11. 11 plus the 1 that you carried, that will give you what? 12. So you say 12 divided by 10. That will give you what? 1, remainder 2. So you write down the remainder and carry the 1 to this side. There's nothing to add this one to, so drop it here. Then you have that 3, 4 in base 10 plus 8, 9 in base 10 is going to give us 1, 2, 3 in base 10. Do we understand this additional? The same thing is when you are given another base other than base 10. Let's say you have 4, 7 plus in base 8. If you add these two together, what you need to say is that 7 plus 5, that will give you 12. 12 is greater than 8. You say 12 divided by 8. You have the 1, remainder 4. So you write down the remainder 4 and take the 1 to this side. So you therefore have 4 plus 3. 4 plus 3 is going to give you 7, right? Plus 1, you have 8. You can see that 8 in base 8 is not possible. So you have to say again that 8 divided by 8. So that will give you 1, remainder 0. You therefore say this is going to be what? 0. And you carry the 1 and drop here. So you have what? 104 in base 8. Guys, do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, let me take for instance that I have 4, 7, 3, 5 in base 9. 5 plus 7, that will give me 12. 12 divided by 9, that will give me 1, remainder 3. So I'll write down the 3, I'll take the 1 to this place. 4 plus 3, that's 7, plus 1, that is 8. 8 is less than 9, isn't it? So write down 8. Therefore, this is going to be your result, 8, 3 in base 9. I believe that is clear now.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's move to division. Sorry, subtraction. How do we subtract number base? So to take the difference, that is to subtract number base system, it takes the same way as we do when we are subtracting base 10. All right. So let me give you a very good number in base 10 so that you used to use that to connect again. Let's take for instance that I have 62 minus 17. Let's say they are in base 8. I still listen now. You see that 2 minus 7 is impossible, right? So you borrow 1 from here and put to this place. Sorry, I want to put it in base 10, not base 8. Base 10, so that you use that to quickly connect what really happened. So 2 minus 7 is impossible. So you borrow 1 from this 6 and put it here. So this one will become 12. Do you know why it becomes 12? It becomes 12 because the one that you are borrowing from this one is equivalent to the base. So if the base is 10, if you are borrowing 1 from here, it means you are borrowing 10. So that will be plus 10. That will make it 12. So this one becomes 12 because you borrow 1 here. And the one that you borrow from here is equivalent to the base. So if the base is 1, it means this one will be 1. If this base is 4, it means the one you are borrowing is equivalent to 4. Is that taken out? All right. So if that should be the case now, you therefore have 12 minus 7, and that will give you 5. Then this one remainder 5. 5 minus 1, that will give you 4. Then you have 4, 5 in base 10. So let's take another figure other than what's it called? Base 10. Let's take for instance that you have 64 minus 35 in base 7. You therefore have this. 4 minus 5 is impossible. So 4 minus 5 is impossible. You need to borrow 1 from here to this place. Now, the one you are borrowing from here is equivalent to the base. The base is what? 7. So that means you are adding 7 to 4. 7 plus 4 will give you 11. So you can now say 11 minus 5. 11 minus 5 will give you 6. Since 6 is less than 7, you write down the 06. Then you have what? 5 left here. 5 minus 3, that will give you what? 2. Then you have your results to be 26 in base 7. Let's try another digit. Okay, let's take for instance that we have 5, 3, 4 minus 3, 1, 6, all in base 7. Now, this one, I need to borrow 1 from here to this place. Borrowing 1 from here to this place is like borrowing 7. That will make it 11. 11 minus 6 will give us what? 5. Then this one remains that 2. 2 minus 1 will give us 1. And this one is 5. 5 minus 3 will give us what? 2. So our result is 215 in base 7. You understand that now? So that is how to go about subtraction and addition of number base. I believe we are getting this explanation right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So we'll move on to the next one, and that's multiplication. For multiplication, we do the same thing as what we did when we are doing base 10. I guess it now. So let's say we have 32 in base 3, 32 in base 3. Sorry, 32 times 3 rather in base 4. So these numbers are in base 4. How do we go about it? You say 3 times 2 will give us what? 6. I want you to write it down. 3 times 2 is 6. If you look at it, you get to see that 6 is greater than 4. It's not possible for you to have a digit 6 in base 4. So what do? You say, how many times can 4 go in 6? Then you have it to be 1, remainder 2. You write down the remainder 2. Then this one, you keep it somewhere here. 3 times 3, that's 9. Plus 1, that will give you what? 10. Are you getting it now? So if you look at 10 as a number, it's greater than what? 4. You don't say, how many times can 4 goes in 10? You have what? You have 2, remainder 2. So you write down 2 and you take down the remainder. Now, so that means 32 multiplied by 3 in base 4. 32 multiplied by 3 in base 4 is going to give us what? 222 in base 4. We understand this now. Let's take one more
Yes,
example.
sir.
Let's take one more example on this. Let's say I have 4, 5 multiplied by 3, 4 in base 8. So these two digits want to multiply each other. So how do we go? We say 4 times 5, that's 20. 20 is greater than 8, so we go by saying 20 divided by 8. That will give us 2 remainder 4. So we write down the remainder 4 and we take 2 to this side. 4 times 4 is going to give us 16. Plus 2, that's 18. 18 divided by 8, that will give us 2 remainder 2. So we write down 2. Then the remainder, we'll take it here and drop it. So 2. So we go to the next one. 3 multiplied by 5. 3 multiplied by 5 will give us 15. 15 is greater than 8, right? So we say 15 divided by 8, that will give us 1 remainder 7. Am I right? So that means that this should be 7 here. Sorry, we write down 7 and we take what? 1 to the other side. So we say 3 times 4, that's 12, plus 1, that's 13. So 13 divided by 8, that will be 1 remainder 5. So you write down what? The remainder 5 and you take 1 to this side. So what next? The next thing is for you to add them together. All right, so let me move to this other side. Okay, so we'll continue from here. So look at this now. We want to add them together. Remember, they are all in base 8. So this 4 does not have anything to add to. So we have, let me just put this here, 2, 2, 4 in base 8. And I have 1, 5, 7 in base 8. So we want to add them together. So this 4 will come down here. And this will be 2 plus 7. That is 9, right? So 9 is greater than 8. So we say 9 divided by 8. That will be 1 remainder 1. So we write down 1. And we carry 1 to this side. So that will be 2 plus 5. That will be 7 plus 1. That's 8. So 8 divided by 8. That will be 1 remainder 0. So we write down 0 and we carry 1. So that one we join this. That will make it what? 2. So our result is going to be 2014 in base 8. So that is how to go by multiplication of number bases. So what about the division? The division is just the same thing as the multiplication. Only that we need to take some reverse process here. All right. Now, let's do this. Let's say you are given a number like divide 1 by, I don't want to use a very big figure for a start. Yeah, so that we're not going to have problems. So let me just use very small figure. Let me see thing. Let's say 32. Divide 32 by let's say 3 in base 4. The 32 is in base 4. The 3 is also in what? Base 4. So that means we are having 32 divided by 3 all in base 4. So what is the first thing you want to do? The first thing you want to do is to get the product of 4. That is the multiplication table in base 4. That's what you want to get first. Are we together now? Okay. So let's try and see what that would be. What are the digits that we can have in base 4? We can have 0. We can have 1. We can have 2. We can have 3. These are the numbers that is possible for us to have in base 4. Are you getting this now? So we're going to use all these digits to start multiplying each other. So we're going to use them to generate our multiplication tables. Is that taken now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's see how we can go about that. All right. So what do we need to do? The first thing we need to do is that we need to say try to see how I can break this down so that everyone can get it correctly without any ambiguity. Okay. All right. So let's take it like this. For us to generate all these digits in base 4, so what we're going to do is that we say for the first one, we said 0 multiplied by 3, that will give us 0. Are we making sense now? 0 multiplied by 3, that will give us 0. And please give me some minutes, please.
Yes, sir.
All right. So from where we stop, we said we want to start by looking at generating a product for base 4. Now, you see, it is 3 that we want to use to divide. And these are the digits that is possible for us to have in base 4. So we're going to start with 0. We say 0 in base 4 multiplied by 3 in base 4. That will give us 0, because 0 times 3 is going to give us 0. So we'll go to the next digit in base 4. That will be 1 in base 4 to multiply this number that we are using to divide, which is what? 3 in base 4. So 1 times 3 is 3. So it's still what? 3. So the next one is going to be 2 in base 4 multiplied by 3 in base 4. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 3 is what? 6. So 6 divided by 4, that will give us 1, remainder 2. So write down 2 first, then we take down the 1 to this place. So that is what? 12 in base 4. So the next one is going to be 3 in base 4 multiplied by 3 in base 4. So 3 times 3 will give us what? 9. So 9 divided by 4, that will give us 2, remainder 1. So write down 1 and we have what? 2 here. That will be 2, 1 in base 4. So do you guys understand how we generate the multiplication for number in base 4?
Yes, sir.
Now let's carry out the division. Now for us to carry out the division, let's use our division line. So this is the number that we want to divide, 32 in base 4. And this is the number we want to use to divide, 3 in base 4. Now, can 3 go in 3? Absolutely yes. How many times? So you come here to check. What number will you use to multiply 3 that will give you 3, or a number closer to 3? You have 1, isn't it? So you write down 1. So you say 1 multiplied by 3, your result is going to be what? 3. So you have this. So take the difference. This one we're going to drop it. We have 2. And this one will give us what? 0. So this is 2 in base 4. So what's the next thing? The next thing is 3. What number can you use to divide 2? So what number can you use to multiply 3 rather? That will give you 2, or a number closer to 2. That is what? 0. Are you guys following? A number that is closer to 2 here, there's no product of 3 that will give us 2, but there is a number closer to 2, which is what? 0. So we have what? 0 here. So 3 times this, that will still give us what? 0 in base 4, and we are going to have 2 in base 4. So our result here is going to be 10 in base 4, remainder 2 in base 4. That will be our result. So when we say 32 divided by 3 in base 4, so your result is going to be 10 in base 4, remainder 2 in base 4. So do you understand this now? Let's take another example. Let's take another example for you to understand this better. So that's not about this. All right, so let's take this. Let's say I have first says divide 342 in base 5 by 4 in base 5. So this number is in base 5. So the first thing we need to do is to create what? The base 5 table. What are the digits we can have in base 5? We can have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it is 4 that we want to use to divide. So we say is 0 in base 5 multiplied by 4 in base 5. That will give us 0. And 1 in base 5 multiplied by 4 in base 5. That will give us 4 in base 5. Then 2 in base 5 multiplied by 4 in base 5. That will give us 8, right? 8 is greater than 5. So you say 8 divided by 5. That will give us 1, remainder 3. So you write down the remainder 3 and you put 1 here. So that will be 13 in base 5. So the next one is going to be 3 in base 5 multiplied by 4 in base 5. That will give us 12. So we have 12 divided by 5. That will be 2, remainder 2. So that means this is going to be 22 in base 5. Then the next one is going to be 4 in base 5 multiplied by 4 in base 5. That will give us 16. 16 divided by 5. That will give us, I think that's 3 remainder 1. 3 remainder 1. So you write down the remainder 1. Then you put down the 3 here. So that will be 31 in base 5. And I think we can't go further than this. Now that we have been able to generate the multiplication table, we can carry out the division process in this way. So that will be 342 in base 5 to be divided by 4 in base 5. So you can see 4 cannot divide 3. It's impossible, right? Because there is no digit that we can use to multiply to get it except 0. So, and writing is 0 as a leading number is insignificant. It makes no meaning. So just pick what, or for better understanding, let me just say 3 divided by 4. What number closer to what? To 4 here. You can see, there's no number that if I use to multiply 4 is going to give me 3. So what number is closer to 3? That's 0. So I'll write down 0 here. And I'll say 0 times 4, that will give me 0. So I have this. So I'll drop this digit now because I want to take subtraction. If I drop this, that will be 2. Drop this, that will be 4. And 3 minus 0, that will be 3. So you have 342 in base 5. So the next thing is to pick these 2 digits. Since 3 is going to give us another 0. So pick these 2 digits, 34. So if I use 34 by 4, so you come here to check what number can you use to multiply 4 that will give you 34, or a number close to what? 34. So a number close to 34 here is 4. So that means that 34 divided by 4 in base 5 is going to give us what? It's going to give us 4. Then you say 4 times 4, that will give us 31. So you have 31 here. So drop these 2, and this one will give us what? 3. So this one is going to give us 0. You understand this now? All right. So what's the next thing to have? So the next thing to have here is to pick this 32 again. 4 in 32. That is, what number can you use to multiply 4 that will give you 32? We don't have, but we have a number closer to 32. Are you getting it now? And what is that number? The number is 4. 4 times 4 will give us 31. So we write down 4 here. So 4 times 4, that will be 31. So you have this in base 5. So this will give us what? 1. So can 4 divide, what number can I use to multiply 4 to give us 1? There is no number. So that means that our result is going to be 342 divided by 4 in base 5. And that will give us 44 in base 5, remainder 1 in base 5. You guys get this now? Let me are you guys getting it?
Yes, sir.
Let's look at one more example, but I'll leave it in base 5 so that we are not going to waste time generating table. I'm trying to let you understand this division because it's kind of tricky to just understand it. Let's say I have 134 in base 5 to be divided by 4 in base 5. I create my table already, so I'll draw my division line. I'll have 134 in base 5, and I will have 4 in base 5. So don't waste time checking one. So let's just say 13. What number can I use to multiply 4? That will give me 13. That will be 2, right? So I'll write down 2 here. So 2 times 4, that will give me 13. Then drop the 4 in base 5. So this one will give me 0. So what number can I use to multiply 4? That will give me what? That will give me 4. That will be 1. So I'll write down 1 here. So 1 times 4, that will give me 4 in base 5. And if I take the difference, my result is going to be what? 0. Therefore, 134 divided by 4 in base 5 is equal to 21 in base 5. You guys understand this now?
Yes, sir.
So that's that about division of number base. Another thing you need to know now is conversion of number base. Convert number base system. That's another thing for you to. Okay, so conversion of number base now. So you can convert from one base to base 10 or common base. Base 10 is called common base or binary. Why base 2 is called binary. I want you to understand that. So if they say octary, that's base 8. Because JAMB can be crazy. They might decide to bring those Latin words. Was it Latin or Greek? I think it's Latin. Bringing it into question. So you need to understand what they mean by octa. When I say octary, they are talking about base 8. When they say binary, they're talking about base 10. When they say binary, they're talking about base 2. Are you getting it now? All right. How do you convert from one base to base 10? If you don't want to call base 10 binary, you can call it to a common base. So let's start from that to see how to convert to base 10. Let's take, for instance, that you have a digit like 211 in base 2, and you were asked to convert it to base 10. So how do you go about this? So the thing you have to do if you are converting from one base to base 10 is to use what? To pick each digit there. The first digit here is what? 2. Multiply it to the base, which is also what? 2. Give it a bracket. Plus, the next digit is what? 1. Multiply it to the base. Plus.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. That number of 211 base 2, is it supposed to be like?
Wow, thank you for that attention. That's wrong. That's wrong. Let me put this in base 3. Thank you. That shows you are really following. I really appreciate that. But that's not possible. So this is number 3. All right. Thank you so much for that attention calling. Okay, so let's change this one to 3. This is going to be what? 3 now. Thank you so much. So we'll have finished and start looking at what one. All right, so this is going to be what? 1 multiplied by 3. Twice. The next thing you have to do is to fix the exponent. And you have to fix the exponent from back. Let me rewrite this digit so that I can fix the exponent so that you see what I'm saying. Plus 1 times 3 plus 1 times 3. So fixing the exponent, you're starting from back. You put this one to be 0, this one to be 1, and this one to be 2. You therefore have 2 times 3 raised to power 2 is 9. Please, all of you that always made that mistake of saying 3 raised to power 2 is 6. No, 3 raised to power 2 means 3 times 3. So that will give you 9. So we have 2 times 9 plus 3 raised to power 1 will still give us 3. It will give us 3. So that will be 1 times 3 plus 1 times 3 raised to power 0. That will be 1. You therefore have 2 times 9, that's 18, plus 3 times 1, that's 3, plus 1 times 1, that is 1. You therefore have 18 plus 3 plus 1, so that will be 18 plus 4, that will give us 22 in base 10. You therefore write your answer as 211 in base 3 is equivalent to 22 in base 10. I almost believe that we understand this now.
Yes, sir.
So let's take just one more example under this so that we'll be sure that yes, we understand now. Okay, so what's the example we have to look at here? So let's say we are given 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1 in base 3, and we are asked to convert to base 10. Just to do this, we'll say 1 multiplied by 3 plus 2 multiplied by 3 plus 2 multiplied by 3 plus 1 multiplied by 3. The question is to fix the exponent. This will be 1 multiplied by 3 plus 2 multiplied by 3 plus 2 multiplied by 3 plus 1 multiplied by 3. So this one will be what? Let me write this better. 1 multiplied by 3. So this one will be what? 0, 1, 2, 3. So this will be 1 multiplied by 3 to the power of 3, that's 27, plus 2 multiplied by 3 to the power of 2, that's 9, plus 2 multiplied by 3 to the power of 1, that's 3, plus 1 multiplied by 3 to the power of 0, that's 1. So 1 times 27 will give you 27, plus 2 times 9, that will give you 18, plus 2 times 3, that will give you 6, plus 1 times 1, that will give you 1. Add everything together, 27 plus 18 plus 6 plus 1, so that should give us I think 52, if I'm not mistaken. So please, you can cross check. That will be 52 in base 10. Understand how to convert to base 10 now, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we all understand how to convert to base 10, then the next thing is for us to move on and see how to convert from base 10 to another base. How to convert from base 10 to another base. All right. Okay, so converting from base 10 to another base, what we do is this. Let's take, for instance, that you are given let's say you are given this particular digit, let me say 52 base 10, and I want you to convert it to base 3. I want you to convert 52 to base 3. How do you go about it? What you need to do is to draw a cardinal point. Sorry, not I'm in physics class. You draw this your division line. You have the base you want to convert to, put it here. The number you want to convert, put it here. This 52 in base 10, and here should be your remainder. So we said 3 in 52. How many times are we going to find 3 in 52? So we say 3 and 5, that will give us 1. Remainder what? Remainder 2. So 3 and 22 will give us 7 remainder 1, isn't it? So that means 3 and 52 is going to be what? 17 remainder 1. Guys, am I correct with that? Nobody's here. So 3 is 17. 3 is 17 will give us 5. Remainder 2. And 3 and 5, that will give us 1. Remainder 2. 3 and 1, that will give us 0. Remainder 1. So you take it from the base upward. So we have this. We therefore have 52 in base 10 to equal 122 1 in base 3. You understand how we go about that now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it's as simple as that. So what the next thing for us to look at, the next thing we are to look at is how to convert from one base to the other. Converting from one base to another base. That is, you want to convert from one base to another base other than base 10. How do you go about that? Let's take, for instance, that I ask you to convert 14 in base 5 to base 8. You want to convert 14 in base 5 to base 8. So how do you go about that? Very simple. The first thing you have to do is to convert to base 10 first. So convert 14 to base 10. So we have 1 multiplied by 5 plus 4 multiplied by 5. So the next thing, we fix the exponent. We have 1 multiplied by 5 plus 4 multiplied by 5, and this will just become 0, and this is 1. So 5 raised to the power of 1 is still 5, plus 4 times 5 raised to the power of 0 is 1. So 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 times 1, that is 4. So we so we have 5 plus 4, that will give us 9 in base 10. Now that's what 9 in base 10. We can now convert this one to base 8 by following the method of converting a number in base 10. So we have this, the number we want to convert to, which is base 8, the number we want to convert, which is 9, then the remainder. 8 in 9 will give us 1, remainder 1. So 8 in 1, that will give us 0, remainder 1. So we have that 9 in base 10 is equivalent to 11 in base 8. So how do you write your answer that for YX student? You say what? 1 5 is equal to 9 in base 10 equal to 1 in base 8. And with this, you are good go. Is that taking all? So that simply means that 14 in base 5 is equivalent to 1 in base 8. So it's this simple. That's how to convert from one base to another base other than base 10. Is that taking all?
Yes, sir.
Do everybody understand this now?
Yes, sir.
So can we take question now? Those are the areas that YF want to test you. Okay. All right. So Let's take some questions now. Now, one thing about mathematics is that you need to learn to think very smart. I'm repeating it again. You need to learn to think very smart. And how do you do that? When they give you question, the question is not appearing like what you know. For example, if I give you something like, let's say 234 in base 5 plus 721 in base 8. You see, what is strange here? Can I tell you what is strange here? That is not looking like what I taught you. The what?
The other number in base 8, they have different bases.
Because they have different bases. And when I was explaining, I explained with the same base, isn't it?
Yes.
So you racking your brain here, just convert everything to the same base. Do you understand that now? So combine everything to, or you convert everything to the same base, then you can work. So let's say I gave you that 234 in base 5 plus 731 in base 8 is equal to x in base 7. So this is very simple for you to do. Just convert this one and this one, convert them to base 10. When you combine them to base 10, add their number. Whatever result you have, convert it to base 7. And that will be the value of x. So mathematically, you just always take whatever problem they give to you, take it back to what you understand. If you don't want to do it like that, you convert everything to base 10. So whatever value the x give you, that's the value of x. You guys understand my explanation?
Yes, sir.
So that is
Yes.
that's also a very simple way to think mathematically, because I see students always having issue when they give you questions different from what you are used to. All right, and I think I love this question here. The question is 1983, question number 21. 1983, question number 21. What does the question state? The question states that find x if x in base 4 all square equal 100 100 in base 2. Option A 6. Option B 12. Option D, option C 100. Option D 10. Option E 10. So guys, what's the result?
So I have a question. So that is it 100, 100 or only 100?
100 in base 2. That is 100 100 base 2. So it's a 1 minute question. Do that fast and give us your response. Somebody say 110. 110 is an answer, but I'm not sure if it is correct. Can we have another answer? Then we look at it together. Or you go back and check your workings. Okay, you're not the one that said 110 before. Okay, the person said 12. The first person said 110. Okay, please, the person that said 110, are you cross-checking your answer again? are more than 2 in this class, but I'm only hearing 2 voices. What's happening to others? Are they on vacation? Okay. So let's check because of time. So we check by saying find x if x base 4 is raised to power of 2. So I'll rewrite this as x in base 4 all square. And this will give me x in base 4 multiplied by x in base 4. So that's what I'm going to have, right? And that will give me to be that x squared in base 4 is equal to 100,100 in base 2. So what do I do next? Well, the thing I'm going to do first is to convert everything to base 10. That makes sense now. So I want to convert this to...
That the answer is 12.
Okay, another person got 12. I think that will be the right answer. Should I go on solving or I should stop?
So go on.
Sir, go on.
Okay, so I already have x squared in base 4 to equal 100,100 in base 2. So if you look at it now, their base is not the same. So what I'm going to do is to make their base equal so that I can find the value of x. Are you there with me? So what will I do? What I'm going to do next is to convert x itself to base 10. Or better still, I can leave x to remain x squared in base 4 and convert this one in base 2. I'll convert it to base 4. I'm getting it now. So converting it to base 4, I will equate it to this. So either of the two is allowed. Do you understand that now? Okay. So let's do that. Let me say x squared in base 4. Let's convert this to base 10. So that will be x squared multiplied by 4 raised to power 0 equal, this one also will be 1 times 2 plus 0 times 2. Okay, we need to be careful here. Plus 0 times 2 plus 1 times 2 plus 0 times 2 plus 0 times 2. So won't waste time. Let's just give it power 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So this one is 1. So that will remain what? X squared times base 10. So this one will be 2 raised to power 3. So 2 raised to power 5, that's 32. 32 times 1, so we have 32. 0 times anything will give us 0. This one will also give us 0. So we have 1 times 4, that's 4. This one will also give us 0, this one will give us 0. So we have 32 plus 4, that will give us 36. So x is equal to 6 in base 10. Now, x is 6 in base 10. So this result, convert it back to base 4. Are you getting it now? That is, convert this result to base 4. So we're now going to have that x in base 4 going to equal to 6 in base 4. That will be, I will have to rule line. This will be 6, this will be 4, right? So 4 here, that will give us 1, remainder 2, and 4 here will give us 0, 1. Abi? So that's 12. We therefore have that 6 in base 10 is equivalent to what we call 12 in base 4. You guys understand this now?
Yes, sir.
So the value for x is going to be 12, and that's option. So if x is in base 10, your result is going to be 6. So if it is in base 4, then your result is going to be 2. Okay, so let's take another question. So the question says that if 263 plus 441 equal 714, what number base has been used? What number base, sorry, what number base has been used? A, you have 12. Option B, you have 11. Option C, you have 10. Option D, you have 9. And option E, you have 8. So, guys, 1 minute. What's the number base? Somebody say base 10. Do we all support that? Some people are still solving. So, are we there? We are doing something else. Okay. The person that gave us response before said base 9. All right, so
Sir, 9.
9. Okay, another person got 9. So does that mean that we are all settling for 9?
So I've seen my mistake is in base 9, not 10.
Okay. All right, so let's see. Okay, so now look up, please. I've told you several times that whenever you are given a problem like this, take it back to what you know. Am I making sense now? So what am I saying is that return it and assume that they are all of the same value. Am I making sense now? So let's say they are all in base x. 263 in base x plus 441 in base x equals 714 in base x. So how do we find the value of x? It's very easy for us to find the value of x if we convert everything to base 10. So that will be 2 multiplied by x. I'm using dots as my x. And now, let me quickly point this out. Do you know that there's a difference between 2.3 and 2.3? This one means 2 times 3. This one means 23 divided by 10. Please note that for YX students, it's very important you know. JAMB students, nobody will beat you because they are not there with you. It's just an objective. But for YX, please note that. All right, these 2 points x plus the next one is 6 point x plus the next one is 3 point x. That is 3 times x. So then the big plus 4 multiplied by x plus 4 multiplied by x plus 1 multiplied by x. And that will equal to 7 multiplied by x plus 1 multiplied by x plus 4 multiplied by x. What's the next thing to do? Let's give them power. This will be 0, this will be 1, this will be 2. This will be 0, this will be 1, this will be 2. This will be 0, this will be 1, this will be 2. So that will be 2x squared plus 6x plus 0 to the power 0 is 1. 3 times 1 is what? 3. Then plus, so it will be 4x squared plus 4x plus 1 and equal 7x squared plus x plus 4. So let's collect the like terms now. This is 2x squared, this is 4x squared, that will give us 6x squared. This is 6x, this is 4x, that will give us 10x. This is 3, this is 1, that will give us 4, equal 7x squared plus x plus 4. So let's take everything to the other side, or take all these ones to this side, any which way. We have 7x minus 6x squared, that will give us x squared. Then we have minus nx plus x, that will be minus 9x. And we have okay, so we have a 4 minus 4, that will give us 0, right? So that means we have x squared minus 9x equals 0. So if x squared equals 9x, divide both sides by x. So you have x to cancel one of these x, and this one will cancel this. You therefore have that x is equal to 9. That's as simple as that. So the correct answer to that question is to be 9. Is any question? Do you guys understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I think it's interesting, and that might be our last question for today. I urge you guys to solve more problems, more problems. The examples on paper type M, number 1, the answer is that if 3, 4, 4 in base 6 minus 2, 3p 2 in base 6 equal 2pp 2 in 6. Find the value of p. Find the value of digit p. Option A, you have 2. Option B, you have 3. Option C, you have 4. And option D, you have 5. So your time starts now. Somebody said 3. That's option B. Can that be the answer? Cross check. If it is, then we go by it. Or let's hear from others. We can start cross checking your work in case there's error. And if you're right, we'll go by that. Okay, somebody say it's supposed to be 5 instead of 3. You say you mean 5, right? Instead of 3?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let's wait for others. Let's hear from others. But check your work very well also, in case of necessity. So let's hear from others.
Sir, 5.
Okay, another person also got 5. So we already have 2 people that got 5 now, and I think that should be the right answer. Why some people are still struggling with this? Let me just quickly give you this mathematics arc. Arc of knowing mathematics and being able to solve any question under mathematics is ability for you not to get scared of failing. So don't scare that you're going to get it wrong. Are you getting this now? Say whatever you are able to do. Do whatever you think you should do. You might be wrong in the first instance, but you'll be right as you continue. Not trying at all is a crime. How will I solve this if I'm in a JAMB and I want to make it very sharp? I'll just say, instead of converting everything up and down to base or base, so I'll just leave it the way it is. I'll just say P344 in base 6 minus 23 P2 in base 6 divided by, sorry, my result is now 2PP in base 2. Let me write it up so that you'll be able to follow up with what I want to do. Okay. All right, so we have P3, 4, 4, and we have 2, 3, P2, everything in base 6 equal to 2P, P2, also in base 6. I'll get it up. How do you go about this? You are told that 4 minus 2 is 2. That's correct. Then 4 minus P is told that it is equal to P. If this should be the case, that means that 4 is equal to 2P. And then P is going to be what? 2. I think we should jump and pick 2. No. Let's check first. 3 minus 3. That will give us 0. And we say P is 2. So that means P cannot be 2 because even here, P minus 2, we said it is equal to 2. If P is 2, 2 minus 2 is supposed to give us 0. So it means 2 cannot be the answer. Okay, now let's say P is greater than 4 because P is not 0 and P is not 2. So P needs to be greater than 4. So if P is greater than 4, we need to borrow 1 from here to this place. If you borrow 1 from here to this place, that will give us what? 6 plus 4, that will be 10 because it's in base 6. So we have what? 10 minus P equal to P. That will give us 10 equal to P. So if we have 10 equal to P, that means that P is equal to 5. So let's take this. If I put it here, that will give us 5. So if this one remains 2, and I borrow 1 from here to this place, that will make this one to become 8. 8 minus 3, that will give us 5, which is the value for P. So the correct answer is what? 5. For those that pick 5, then you are correct. So before we go on, let's go back to the question that we started with and then ask ourselves what would be the right answer to this question. Is somebody solving? The question states that if 2 in base Q, then 3 in base 5 equals 77 in base 8, find Q.
Is it multiplication, sir? Like are we is it 2 base Q multiplied by 3 base 5, or what is the relationship between?
You know, that's how they give it to us. Coming. So the question states that if 2 in base Q and 3 in base 5 equals 77 in base 8, then find the value of Q. The question that you are asking now. And if I'm to answer you, after you should take it as multiplication. Take it as multiplication. Maybe it's typing error from the person that collated the question.
Okay, sir.
Can you see the options now?
Yes, sir. Thanks, sir.
Okay, guys, calm down, calm down, calm down. If you look at this question, you guys see that it's not solvable if Q happens to be a base. Then the right question is supposed to be 2Q 35 in base 5. What am I saying? The right question is supposed to be, let me rewrite the question on the screen so that you guys can see what the question should be. I believe some people have been struggling already. And I think I quickly spot the error. The question is supposed to be 2Q3 equal in base 5 equal 7 in base 8. Now,
Yes, sir.
it's supposed to be the right question, not this. All right, so we got that Q is equal to 2. All right, so that's what everybody get, and that should be correct. So guys, we'll see in the next class by God's grace. And you then solve more questions. You can only pass JAMB when you know book and you are familiar with questions. Right? When you know book and you are familiar with questions. Your familiarity with questions is what will estimate how well you can think, how fast you can get your answer accurately. Please and please don't be lazy this time around. If you don't solve more questions, all these things we are explaining, you'll not be able to see it in another way. There's no way that I want to explain this topic for you that I will be bringing this into my explanation. It will make the class boring and make it kind of complex. And that's why you see that teachers don't explain all these things. But when you are solving problems, you encounter them, you know how to go about them. So please don't be lazy this time around. The what was it called? The material that you are going to use to study for mathematics questions. I will drop it on the group maybe before I sleep today by God's grace, so that you can use that as your way of getting questions to practice. All right, so guys, if you are watching this and you watch to this point, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this page, share within your friends. Even if this is the last free class, but still share within your friends. You can benefit from the previous ones and you can save up to join the paid class. 2,500 naira. Cry and cry and cry. Even your neighbor can pay for you. All right, guys. See you in the next clip.